Many restaurant owners ask, how much is my restaurant or cafe worth? Or what's the value of my restaurant? Let's discuss this right now. In trying to assess the value of a restaurant, there are a lot of factors to consider. The business part of a restaurant is different to valuing a property, commercial property, or for a house, etc. Land valuation situation. It basically is the value of the business. The bottom line is the bottom line. How much money is it making? Now, a lot of accountants will tell you it's that sort of restaurants would be 1.5 to 2 to 1 ratio. That's twice the profit or 3 times the profit. Sometimes franchises are normally double the value. So if a similar type of restaurant is twice the value for a restaurant, it'll be 4 times the value in a franchise situation. That's, even though that people think it's gospel, it isn't gospel. A lot of factors to consider. What equipment is it? What is the length of the lease? Well, when you buy a restaurant, it depends how much you've got left in your lease. You've got no lease, you've got no business. Because if you've got 2 years left in the lease, well, it could close down in 2 years. So your chances of recovering the purchase price is unlikely. And you could be left holding the baby, no restaurant to operate from. Or they could jack up your rental. So you look at things like rental, the length of the lease, quality of the building, the price of the rental. Are you paying a fair market price? You have a lot of restaurants that sell because there's been some major increase or the restaurant's been leased at a very high price. And the current owner can't make any money from that because normally restaurant rent is usually between 8 to 12% of revenue. If you restaurant rent 20% of revenue, it's certainly into the profits. So you want a fair market rent, fairly well equipped, with a good length of lease. Then you look at how easy it is to manage. Can you take over quite easily? Is it hard? Do I need an expert? Do I need a special chef? Have I got the skills for it? So look at the setup, how you can adopt to it. How easy is it for you to maintain and increase that sales level? And are you allowing yourself enough time to recover the cost of the purchase and sell it for a nice return? Which means the person who is going to buy the restaurant from you must have a reasonably sized length of lease to ensure that they can recover their money. What's a reasonable size? Well, generally I found about 5 or 6 years. Restaurants with less than 5 or 6 years to run in their lease can be very difficult to sell. So you can't rely on promises from landlords because things change. They have other people run their business for them. They pass their property onto their children to run, and they've got different philosophies. Normally they want to make more money than their current owner, their parents. So all these things have to be considered when trying to assess the value of a restaurant. I would like to hear your comments.